The number one thing I always hear on social media, in my comments, in my DMs, is how did you find your mentor? Now, for many of you guys who don't know me, my name is Fareed Abedini. I am 24 years old. I got into real estate 5 years ago through finding a high value coach and a high value mentor that I ran into. And that mentor has exposed and opened so many other opportunities and doors for me. And fast forward 5 years later to today, I now have over 30 Airbnb properties, and I have done multiple fix and flip projects, and now I'm working on my next $2.5 million development project. And it all started with one person. And it takes that one person to really open the curtains and give you that exposure to so many more opportunities that you normally would not have had access to if it was for that person. Now, so many people always ask me, Reed, where can I get mentors? Where can I get coaches? Now guys, before I dive into how to find a mentor, how to impress them, what to do to become that person and to shadow them and work under them, I want to explain to you that finding a mentor is a lot easier than you actually think, okay? Many people think that you have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on finding a coach and finding a mentor, which I have done myself. The most expensive mentor I actually have right now is the mentor that's helping me build a $2.5 million development project here in Texas that I'm going to be constructing from ground up. I'm building a spec home that's going to be one of my biggest real estate projects year to date. And that mentor cost me over $50,000 that I had to pay for to get one-on-one access to. Now, you don't have to do this. When I got started in real estate when I was 19 years old, I did not pay a mentor $50,000. I did not pay a mentor $10,000. I didn't have any money at all. I couldn't pay a mentor anything. The only thing I could pay a mentor was my time and my expertise. And at that moment, I had no expertise and no experience in real estate at all. So it was really just my time and my work ethic, okay? And the reason why I'm trying to explain to you on how easy it is to find a mentor is because you need to be looking for people who don't have what you have right now. And the biggest thing that you probably have watching this video right now, you're young, you're hungry, you're an entrepreneur, and you want to make money fast, okay? And the biggest things that the mentor probably doesn't have is the fact that you have so much more time on him. And you have to find someone who's willing to coach you as well, because a lot of people in this world want to help you out for their own self-benefit to make money. And another thing you have to be willing to do, and I'll just lay it out clear as water, you have to be willing to be a bitch boy for a while, okay? This could be going all the way from cleaning dishes, cooking food, and running their assistant admin work to running errands, running out to properties, putting lock boxes on properties. One of my friends who's very, very successful in real estate, who makes over $100,000 a month, and he's only 18 years old, the way he found his mentor when he got started, he literally went on Google and he typed in best real estate companies near me. And what this did was literally list out the best brokerages in Washington, D.C., where I used to live with my friend. And it sourced out the highest and best brokerages from top to bottom. What did he do? He spent 2.5 hours on a Sunday, not a Saturday, not a Friday, on a Sunday, so that the company would see their email in their inbox first thing on Monday morning. He would go in and he would email every single brokerage. And I'm not talking about an assistant. He wouldn't email the front desk. He wouldn't email an associate. No. Spend 10 to 15 minutes for each brokerage, skip tracing and figuring out who owned that company, who owned that brokerage. He was reaching out to founders, guys. He was reaching out to CEOs, okay? Because when you're reaching out to someone and you want to get results from that person and you want to do business with them, whether it's because the truth is in life, when you reach out to people, if you want to do business with them, if you want to partner up with them, if you want to work with them, you have to be reaching out to the decision maker. The script that he literally typed up and sent to these founders were so simple, okay? And you can use this in your endeavor on finding a mentor for yourself as well. He literally said, hey, my name is so-and-so. I literally just found your brokerage online. I'm a young college student. I'm looking to get into real estate. I'm looking to learn. I may not have enough experience or a license to get into the business yet. However, I'm looking for a firm to work for, to come in for free, to shadow, to intern, just to learn and get experience from. Okay, and this script that he sent out showed these founders that this was just literally a broke college student who doesn't have any money, who doesn't have any direction, but the one thing he did have was time and work ethic, and the fact that he was willing to do whatever it took to work for free. That's the biggest concept here, guys. If you do not have enough money to pay for someone's time, you have to pay for it in some other way or fashion, and it has to be through your time. You have to be willing to sacrifice your time and your work ethic to work for free. You have to be willing to work for free. That's the most important thing here. That's how I found my mentor. So quick story time. I know you guys have been waiting for this, and I'm gonna expose exactly how I found my coach that has made me over $100,000 a month through Airbnb, and how he exposed me to the entire Airbnb business that has amassed me over $3 to $4 million in profits in the last 5 years. And the way I found him might be so astonishing to every single person who's watching this, or it might be completely normal because you guys might be doing this every single weekend. And the way I found my mentor was going to a club on a Tuesday night. Don't ask me how I got in because I was 18, 19 years old at the time. I guess they just weren't taking IDs and the club was freaking dead and there was no one there during the week, so they just let me in. But this is how I found my mentor. And you have to understand that I don't go out usually. When I do, I don't drink. I really just like hang out with my friends. I have fun. I don't go out for the purpose to get shit-faced and drunk and hammered to not remember anything the next day, to talk to people I don't even remember or care about me. I don't do that. I know many people do. Many people do go out on Fridays, Saturdays, even Sundays, even Thursdays to get drunk, to have fun, whatever. I went out to the club on a Tuesday night because I was bored with my friend. And I was thinking to myself, like, I want to see who the fuck is going out on a Tuesday night. And lo and behold, what I found out was that the types of people who go out during the weekends are the people who drink to pass time, to waste time because their lives are fucking miserable. What you actually want to do, if you want to find the real successful people who are rich, who are working for themselves, who are founders, who are CEOs, who are business entrepreneurs, who are serial entrepreneurs, who have many, many companies, who just have a shit ton of money. If you want to find those people, try going out to a club on either a Monday, Tuesday, or a Wednesday. A Wednesday to me was pushing it, and Monday is way too early into the week to go out. Try Tuesday. And the reason for this is very, very simple. Let's compare the two types of people who go out. And let's bring up their resume real quick. Who do we know that goes out during the weekends usually? Are they people who are intelligent and smart, or are they people who just want to pass time, drink alcohol, and get shit-faced hammered and talk to fucking girls and a bunch of guys or whatever? And let's compare that profile to the person who's going out during the week, and I guarantee you that individual is not going to match the description at all compared to the other person. Because the individual that's going out during the week is not going to have to go into the office the next day, is not going to have to clock in, is not going to be worried about showing up on time for work, about his boss firing him, or if he shows up hungover. The guy who goes out during the week on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday to a club is the guy who just wants to spend money because he can, and he's bored, and he doesn't give a fuck because he's already made a shit ton of money in his life, and he's already a successful entrepreneur, and he's already got it figured out to the point where he doesn't even have to go to work the next day. He doesn't even have to probably work for the rest of the year because he's making passive income through his high income skills or his businesses or his properties. And I'm telling you for a fact that that person who's going out on a Tuesday is the exact type of individual that you want to hang out with. And I'm not saying go out with that person, pop bottles, drink alcohol, and do drugs. Take the good in people and leave the bad. That's what I've always learned, is you as an individual cannot copy everything a single person does. Take Trump, for example. He's got numerous cases against sexual assault. He's a misogynist. He's all these things, but he's an incredible businessman. Now, I don't go to Trump and copy everything he does and hate on women and fucking do all these things. And I'm not saying he does all that, but he's been accused of it. And that could be some form of censorship towards him. But I'm not saying copy every single bad thing about a fucking person. I'm just saying copy the good things about someone and leave the bad. Okay, and you have to be conscious about this. You can't be subconscious and passive about this because humans genuinely want to mirror other humans. We like to do that subconsciously because it makes us feel like we're fitting in, that we're included. However, you have to be conscious about how you're choosing to spend your time, and you have to be spending it very, very wisely. So when you go out and you meet these types of people, you have to understand that, hey, this person I'm talking to right now that I'm going out with could be having a divorce, he could be crazy, he could be asinine, he could be out of pocket, he could be a freaking psychopath, but does this person hold certain qualities that I would like to obtain and learn from in the future myself? And if the answer to that question is yes, then hang out with them enough to extract those qualities, to grab them and use them to benefit your own. The only quality I was looking for when I was 18 and 19 years old, when I walked into that club on a Tuesday night, was to make a shit ton of fucking money. And I was looking for people who were making a shit ton of fucking money. And when I found my guy wearing a $45,000 watch inside of a section that was secluded just for him and 3 of his guy friends and 16 other girls inside of the table, all I was looking at the entire time while they were popping champagne bottles, drinking $3,000 bottles of Ace of Spades and Don Julio and Casa Azules, was not the girls, was not the alcohol, was not any of his dumbass friends. And it wasn't even him. It was the $45,000 timepiece that he had on his wrist that he was easily able to afford given the lifestyle that he was living, because I could tell that he was successful. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to have a conversation with that person. And most entrepreneurs fail because of that one mistake, that they can't take the courage to walk up to someone and talk to them. Okay, so when I literally saw this person wearing this $45,000 timepiece, I walked up to him and I point blank stared him straight into the face and I said, yo, that's an amazing watch you have on. I was just curious. I saw it in the corner of my eye and I wanted to walk up to say what's good. What do you do for a living? And instantly, his face literally turned from partying to having fun to laughing to straight seriousness and straight business. And he looked straight back into my face and he said, brother, get into real estate. It's the best decision you'll ever make. And he asked how old I was. I told him I was 18 at the time. He asked me where I was from. We started a bond. We started a network. He happened to be Persian, just like myself. Next thing led to another. I was invited to the section. I sat down next to him. I was starting to talk to him about a bunch of my stuff, about my upbringing, about my parents, about my lifestyle and what I'm currently trying to do for myself. I told him I was trying to figure out how to get away into real estate. I told him I didn't have any money. He literally was so astonished to the fact that I was 18 years old and I problem solved my way to sneak myself into this club. And he was so impressed to the point that he literally told me to show up to his office the next morning at 8 a.m. sharp. I showed up to his office the next morning at 7:35 a.m. I will never forget this. Clean cut, in my suit, nice polished shoes, and I was waiting for him at the door until 8 a.m. to be let into the office. And it was so funny, I will never forget this. I didn't see him walk up and I was waiting there. I was waiting for 5 minutes, I was waiting for 10 minutes, I was waiting for 15 minutes. And I was like, where is this guy? Is he not gonna show up? He's probably hungover from the night before. He probably forgot he had this conversation with me. I was like overthinking about a bunch of shit. I'm like, should I even be here? Was he actually serious about this? And then 8 o'clock rolls around and I was like, dude, this guy's not gonna show up. Like I'm helpless. This guy literally doesn't even fucking remember me. I drove 35 minutes from DC to Virginia to show up to this guy's office. He's not even here. I'm like, fuck it, dude, I'm about to just leave. As I'm walking out and walking down the stairs to leave towards the elevator, this guy turns the knob to the door and opens the door and looks at me. He's like, yo, Reed, what are you doing, bro? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, dude, I've been waiting here the entire time for you. And I'm like, dude, I've been here since 7:30. What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I show up to the office early every single morning, an hour early before we open. And I'm like, oh my God, you've been in the office the entire time? Like, I was so surprised. I'm like, do you even know who I am? Like, he's like, Reed, come on, let's go, bro. We gotta sit down, we gotta talk about stuff. He was just telling me about his upbringing, how he immigrated here, how he moved here, his parents, like, you know, he left his parents because he had to shape a better self for his future, and how he was building this business, like literally all from scratch, hiring people, firing people, just the ins and outs of his entire life. And I was so astonished with this person. I was like, dude, I, at this point, am sold. By the way, he had a $250,000 Mercedes-Benz parked outside in the parking lot. So I was like, yeah, I'm sold for sure. So I started to work for him. I started to do marketing for his mortgage company. I started to help him cold call leads. I started to help him do sales. He gave me an opportunity after a few months of working for him to turn his property that he had in Virginia, like just one of his properties that he gave me. He was like, hey, like, you know, I was living in here myself, but I'm moving out. Like, I got another house now. Like, you know, let's see if you can Airbnb this. And I was like, holy shit, like, you're actually going to give me this opportunity? And he was like, yeah, sure. Like, I'll give it to you as long as you don't fuck it up. And he gave me the property. And I will never forget this. The first month we made like $6,000 in revenue. And I knew absolutely nothing about Airbnb. I was just fucking watching YouTube videos. And that connection I made when I was 18 years old was the best connection that I've ever made in my entire life. Because not only did it fiscally serve me and financially serve me a shit ton of money, but it also gave me the amount of confidence that I needed to turn around and replicate and duplicate that same exact business to other businesses, to other properties, to expand and grow my portfolio because my confidence had boosted up and increased. I say this all the time. It's not about who you know in your circle. It's about who you know in your circle that's willing to coach and mentor you. Don't be an idiot. If someone has what you want, if someone's driving the car that you want, if someone's got the blonde or the brunette that you want to be with, just do what he's doing. Copy what he's doing. And the best way to do that is to reach out to that individual and intern for him. Become a student, become a mentee, work for him for free, whatever it takes, or in some cases, you might have to pay him for mentorship. Don't be that one person who's going to work every single day, coming home, who's 45 years old, who's miserable, hates his job, hates his wife because his wife doesn't respect him, and his wife is screaming at him to take off his shoes and clean the house while you're just trying to get a fucking beer in and sit down on the couch and watch the game on Sunday. Your kids are going out and playing with Jimmy and John at Jimmy and John's father's house that is worth $6 million with a $300,000 car, with a smoking hot wife that takes care of them and brings them chips and snacks and guac on a fucking Sunday. You don't want to be that guy where your kids are looking up to other people and not looking up to you because you never had the courage to take and do what you had to do in order to create that lifestyle for your family. And your kids don't respect you, and your wife is not even respecting you and not looking up to you because you're not the man that she wants to be with, and that you probably sold her a false reality in the beginning, or because she decided to settle down with you and now she's bored. Like, that is the fucking real reality that most people live in. And if that doesn't fucking scare you, I genuinely don't know what will, because there needs to be some sort of trauma that's going to hit you in your life that has to scare you away from that lifestyle that 98% of people are living currently, okay? The lifestyle of complacency, the lifestyle of, hey, I'm going to do this tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll do it next month, I'll do it next year, and then it turns into an eternity and a fucking pattern that you cannot be able to break anymore. That should frighten the fuck out of you in order to get you out of your goddamn seat and take some sort of action to build a high income skill, to reach out and find a coach, to find a mentor, to start getting into real estate, to start investing into something that's going to better your life for the sole purpose of giving you more time, more money, and more freedom. Let's get it. Let's get started today. It's 2025. The best time to have started in entrepreneurship and in real estate was 30 years ago, and the next best time is right fucking now.